Hello everyone, and today I'll be playing Love and Everblood. Play as someone who's gone to the Everblood Academy for magic, go to the academy for a fresh start. However, they realize that some things really truly never change. It contains two hot dudes, childhood friend shenanigans, and big ass magic too. Awesome. Episode 1. Alright, here is episode 1. A few weeks ago, you managed to get yourself accepted to Everblood Academy for Sorcery. How pleasant. In the day leading up to class, you packed your entire life into a couple of suitcases. Mom was more than happy about your acceptance. So much so that your old bedroom was revamped into a guest bedroom. What, to get rid of it? Gone were all the cracks in the walls, a questionable heater, and a hard bed, painted over with money your mother claimed to not have. Yeah, you know you're not wanted. You're not that dumb. At least it's a win-win for you and your mom. Everblood Academy is located high in Diamond Ridge, mostly because if a magical mishap occurs, it'll at least be contained to this isolated wasteland land. You've never seen snow before. You'll have to get used to it here. After a long-ass carriage ride, you're dropped off at one of the dormitory halls. The building is adorned with stone arches, golden statues, even a few balconies for some suitcases. Perfect for jumping off of. You're greeted by cold air that prickles your entire body, with all of your hair spiking up like a cat. Still, the cold can't stifle your excitement at the fact that finally here. Rude much? Anyways, aside from that little interruption, you're stupid excited. Like a puppy when they see their beloved owner. You calm yourself down a bit. Wouldn't want to gush over the Gilead statues with a bunch of rich kids around. For the most part, you don't know rich kids to be the nicest people. Sure, they don't go out of their way to humiliate you, but you can't help but think they look at you like some poor puppy. Hell, even the one well-off person you like was kinda like that. They always seem to overcompensate for something. I really want to get a good look around. Sally, I'm too carriage lagged. Ugh. Well, there's always tomorrow to explore a bit. There's nothing more you need to do today. You have all your stuff, you have your schedule. All that good registration stuff was done before this wondrous day. You lug your luggage up the stairs of the residence hall, grateful for how little you have. Well, it's quite a disservice to call this place a residence hall. All that's castle for people. Might not be a castle to some of those wealthy kids, but it surely is to you. Thinking about rich people makes you think back about that friend you had a few years ago. You're probably the closest to wealth you've ever gotten to. Even then, the cashmere turtlenecks and blue coats weren't much compared to those massive coats. Ah, the good old days. Damn, I'm too young to get all nostalgic. Haven't seen that guy ever since the move. What the hell is he doing now? As soon as you reach your room, flop on the left near his bed, not even bothering to fast. You can wait a day or two. As you sleep, the thoughts of your old friend drift to the back of you. You wake up to a brand new day. After that, at that, the very first day at the academy. Rise and shine. You're gonna have a great day today. You wake, you wake the hell up, practically jump out of bed, throw your flannel on, brush your teeth, press breakfast into your pockets. Because what prospective maid doesn't shove random shit into their infinite pockets? Then you rush the hell out the door, even though you're not. In contrast with how happy you feel, it's cold, gray, and gloomy outside. You're not used to seeing this much snow and ice outside, but you'll adjust eventually. The warmest piece of clothing you have is a flannel jacket. Yeah, that's not gonna do that jack shit here, but it's better than going out in a t-shirt and shorts. Now I just need to find what my first class is. Where the heck did I put my time to? Ha, got it. Looks like my first class is... next thing 201, room 505, Great Tower. You look around and see a massive tower looming in the distance. No way in hell that's not the Great Tower. You rush over to the massive tower, snowflakes staining your fresh face. You're ready to run, That's why you woke up 2 hours before class. But there's always a chance you get lost, arrive to class late, and make a shitty first impression. Then you're gonna have to do even more to gain the respect of others. You had your time for punking out in high school. Now's the time to get serious. Alrighty, I'm here at the Inferior Tower. Well, the signs never lie. Ugh. And here you are, about to wallow in your misery. Wasted out my daily run-in. Guess that's the only way to cope with the time and energy you wasted. Given the fact that the grandiose tower is a so-called inferior, you don't really want to. There's not anything. I get a big tower, realize that this tower lacks in height and looks like a now maybe you can go out and read. We're the way to see this. At least we're gonna be the first one in class. After the whole school, we're still going to most scholars because they something like rules of habit and technology. This is a new class. Finally, the really amazing food cups to you. You fill your face with it, and want to be hot. Well, how you do it in the not to mention the good life for you. Talking with good life like you don't do anything. Here's what you talk about. Bring your country, watch for the footsteps drop so closely, you start to falls and men like black. Dark coat is draped over his shoulders, flowing behind him. One of his legs goes out the window, and on the ground. The castle is so full of the class of small boys create unwavering faith in the mountain. Slowly the beat fades out and walks away. He almost reminds me of... No. That can't be right. What would the odds be even for us to meet again? The spontaneity of it and the man's apathetic look are enough to convince you that you're hallucinating. You haven't had any energy potions today. Maybe you need a small dose to stop yourself from having visions of pretty dudes. You slowly make your way to room 505, the man's presence still lingering in your mind. You can't quite put your finger on why you're so fixated on him. Yeah, you've seen many pretty guys before, but this one seems to have ensnared you in his gaze. Alright, I'm not gonna begin daydreaming in class about him. I've got better things to do, like making good first impressions. You sit your ass down in the second row. Too close to the front, and the professor's gonna watch you like a hawk. Not to mention that you're gonna isolate yourself from the rest of the class. Too far in the back and everyone's gonna think you're a bad apple? That's a weird way to think. Yes, you know that this is some bullshit high school logic that could have been left the minute you enter college, but you sometimes wonder if other people are stuck in this high school mindset like you are. You're not about to delve deep into the psyche of teenagers suddenly turning into adults though. You'll save that for later. For now, it's time to open up the lovely textbook you had to buy for an arm and leg, Hexing for Dumbasses, Volume 2. You skim through a couple of pages for what you think is a few minutes. Its hold on you is so strong that it's probably hexed you the minute you opened it. It's practical as heck for your shitty attention span, but at the same time, it screws with your time perception. Before you know it, the entire class has trickled into the room. You hear them chattering about random stuff. Stuff about boys, girls, how hot this teaching assistant is, all that good normal magic college shit. Or magic high school for that matter. No matter how much you tell yourself you're in college, you still feel like you're fresh out of high school. Especially since you still need to be at the command of others. You perk up when a booming voice announced, "Good morning, Hexing 201, Section X. I'm Professor Insidio, and I'll be teaching you how to use all kinds of hexes. Nasty ones, nice ones, even ones that summon demons." But for some reason, the look of Professor Incendio reminds you of a dad. Not even your dad specifically, just a generic dad. Whatever the hell a generic dad's supposed to be anyways. Generic dad's supposed to be someone with like a belly, partially balding, always making unfunny, kind of sometimes funny jokes. You hear students chattering in hushed tones. Like, we should summon a demon. Ask it to make us hot. Hell no, Billy, terrible idea. You're lost. Professor Insidio makes note of the chattering students. Placing his wand to his jaw, he announces, "Settle down, class." Ah, voice enhancements. What lovely things they are. You hear a high-pitched ringing in your ears. But everyone shuts the hell up. Now, where were we? Oh, right. I want you all to meet your TA. Professor Insidio beckons over to a tall young man. His eyes look to be glued to his tall heel boots. Wait a damn minute, it's that guy again. So I'm not going batshit crazy? Insane? The man beside Professor Insidio stands in silence for a bit, like he's assessing the rest of the students. He finally opens his mouth. "My name is Oliver Cypress. I'll be your TA for this semester, as Professor Insidio stated. I am a junior plant mage, so you can come to me with questions about your classes or potential career paths." You can't quite put your finger on how to describe his voice. The closest comparison you can make is to snow. Cold but soft. Something about that name rings a bell. Cypress, Oliver Cypress, where have I heard that name before? Here are some of the female students and male students tittering a bit. Looks like this Oliver guy was the subject of those discussions about the hot TA. His face remains, it's a big word, stateless, as he looks over the students until he reaches you. He holds his gaze for a bit, can't read what he's thinking. As the two of you lock eyes, you try to poke through your memories to determine the source of this familiarity. You think you can see hints of perplexion in his face too. But the moment is so brief that you don't get to think on it too long. Oliver resumes his commanding presence, almost like he didn't begin staring at you for a bit. Oliver conjures a large stack of fat packets, small flour at the top of the pile. You wonder where the flour came from. His general presence makes you think he's an ice, wind, or water mage. He quickly brushes the blossom off and distributes the papers with what you're pretty sure is a levitation spell. Sometimes you think you'll be more efficient to just do things manually. But this is an exception. The packets divide up into an array, such that they're above each and every desk. Most of your attempts with levitation magic aren't as uniform and perfect. Usually they end up with someone being smacked in the face. Your face mostly. As you look at Oliver, he's not even breaking a sweat. Heck, he didn't even pull out a wand for this shit. He releases the papers, all of them falling onto the desk with a loud uniform thud. You look at the paper, seems like a quiz. Quiz already? Ugh. You hear moaning and groaning throughout the room. This is just a little quiz to get the idea of where you stand with regards to hexing. It's not going to count towards your final grade, however, so it's fine if you do horribly. Won't count towards the final grade, huh? You can all begin now. You hear the scritches and scratches of pencils against paper. You turn towards the first page. Wait a second, the hell's an amphibio hex? As you flip through the paper, you find all kinds of shit you either don't know or have a vague memory of. Well, Professor Insidio did mention that this wouldn't make an impact on the final grade. Plus, I don't think he think I'm a punk for not knowing half of this. So I just give up on most of these questions. Maybe I have more time to read over the textbook after class. Hell yeah, or hell no. I say no. I think you should try. You try your best on each and every question, thinking hard for the trickier ones. One by one, students trickle out of the classrooms, turning their quizzes in at the front desk. Before you know it, you're one of the few students left. Your feet tap anxiously against the floor as you near the end of the quiz. And done! Quiz in hand, you walk up to the front desk and place the packet on top of the others, right by Oliver. He's marking the quizzes down with a fountain pen, complete with blood red ink. Looks like this quiz was an absolute bloodbath. You rush back to your desk, pack your shit up, and go, making sure to wish Professor Insidio a good day. You could have sworn that throughout the corner of your eye, you saw a hint of amusement in Oliver's face, probably thanks to the quizzes. By the time you enter the hallway, you're still trying to dissect Oliver's face. What was he thinking when he looked through the quizzes, when he saw you? Wait a second, what the heck am I paying so much attention to him? You initially think it's because he's hot as hell. Could be a reason. That doesn't make any sense. None of you guys at this academy are hot. None of them have enchanted you like this one. Then you think that he placed a hex on you. Thing is that there's no way he could have placed a hex that strong on me, right? The thing that stays constant in your thoughts is familiarity. I swear that I've seen that guy before. You're about to run off to who knows where when you realize your shoelace is untied. Oh, he's walking up. Oh shit. I didn't even hear him approach me. Oliver absolutely towers over you. Alright, maybe not absolutely. You're on the ground, for Christ's sake. Am I in trouble or something? That's the only thing that could explain Oliver's grim expression. Do you mind if I speak to you? Sure. He begins to walk away. Looks like when he asked, do you mind, he really meant it that way. Hold on, I don't mind. Oliver stops in his tracks and turns back to you. Doesn't say a peep for a long time. Almost like he didn't have a clue on how to start this conversation. Your name is Adrian Voltes, correct? Yes. Something glimmers in his face. I knew you looked familiar. Sorry if this is coming out of nowhere. The stutter in his voice feels so different from his voice during class. Sounds like the icicles on his tongue are melting. I was thinking the same thing. He blurted out without thinking. You're about to retract it when... It's just that your face, name, mannerisms, they're familiar. And I thought you were somebody that I knew long ago. Oliver stares off into nowhere. I know that this is strange to say the least. It is. It's strange that we're both thinking the same thing. When did you know this person? 5 years ago? Reach back into your memories. You did have a friend back then, a pretty close one. We knew each other from elementary school. They visit my house almost every single day. We did what children were meant to do, just exist without the weight of age. That friend was whisked away to God knows where by their parents, right? But they had a pretty good last day together. Eating at places, probably pissing their parents off, all that good stuff. That day, the last day you were in the Brito state. It was the best and worst day of your life. You made the most of it thanks to your friend. That was the first day you had ever felt such a crushing dread. Dread that you never see that friend again. Until today. Something clicks in both your heads as you bounce the memories off each other. Somehow, both of your recollections line up perfectly. It all confirms what you were thinking. I thought I'd never... You cut off each other. Nice going. Oliver breaks the silence after a few seconds. You go first. I thought I'd never see you again. What are the odds that we end up in the same school? I almost didn't recognize you at first. You look so... different. Same could be said for you, Adrian. When'd you go dye your hair? Didn't expect you to notice. I did this Prisma Hex a few weeks ago. Mom was pissed for days, but eventually she wanted her hair done too. It suits you. You changed a lot more than I did, though. Where'd your glasses go? They never left. He pulls off nothing off his face, only for a pair of brown glasses to materialize in his hand. Oh? I just learned how to hide them. He put the glasses back onto his face, reapplying the invisibility hex. Oh, that's pretty cool. Back when the two of you were in high school, Oliver was a scrawny little guy, not that you're much better. Oh, I thought that you left since elementary, not high school. Beck? Somewhere between the time you moved, and right now, puberty hit him like a truck. Oliver, do you want to grab some food with me? I know that I could use a bite. Only if I pay. No! And here it comes, Oliver's overcompensation. Yep, that's Oliver, same guy you knew at 14. Okay. Some things really don't change. It's only the polite thing to do, seeing how I initiated this conversation in the first place. But I suggested we go grab food. And I scared the ever-living shit out of you. I owe you, therefore I will pay. Hold up, the food here costs money? I thought that was part of the meal plan. Well, I was thinking of going somewhere a bit nicer to eat than the food halls. Think back to how your classmates fawned over him. Yeah, most guys would kill for that kind of attention, even you would. Still, you know that Oliver's never been that type of guy. Besides, wouldn't want this hangout to get ruined by some jerks. Alright, let's get going then. Two of you rush out of the stout great tower. The two of you chat on the way to whatever Oliver's wanted to eat. You notice that he stays the heck away from large crowds of people, burying his face in his scarf whenever approaching. Thankfully for him, at least, the heavy snowfall has dissuaded the majority of the school from staying outside for too long. Oliver seems completely unbothered by the cold, even if his face is slightly flushed. While you struggle to walk, he almost levitates above the snow. He leaves shallow footprints behind. Oliver, are you sure you're not some kind of ice or wind mage? You're pretty sure that ice and wind mages are common on his mother's side of the family. So it's not like your predictions are coming from nowhere. You pick up your pace, hoping to warm up a bit. How was it in Los Pacadores? It was pretty similar to what I remember from Libretto City. Just much hotter. Don't think I've ever seen it in snow like this. I'd be more concerned if that were the case in Los Pacadores. That would be the result of a rogue ice mage. Unless you were in some region of high altitude. Have you lived near the coast, right? Yep. Sadly, I don't think I could go swimming there. That would be a horrible idea. I do not know which fraternity did this, but they had some activity involving diving into a frozen river. Most of the people involved wound up in the hospital wing. Everyone was in such terrible shape that a restriction text was placed on almost all the bodies of water on campus. Sheesh, you were always thinking the hazings at my old school were bad. Come to think of it, I doubt that the fraternity was doing a hazing ritual. Someone said something about it being a normal activity? Didn't you say you're a junior mage? How did you not know about the fraternity's shenanigans? Closest I've ever gone to a fraternity was the Honor Society. Ah, I see. I might join the fraternity if I'm sure my classes won't be too hard. Maybe you just tell me if they ever violate school policies. Can't snitch on the Brotherhood. You're smart enough to know when you're in danger though, right? Hell yeah. So when you're initiated, you'll run away if they make you eat a frog? What's wrong with eating frogs? I'm taken back to the time when Oliver's father made dinner. All you remember was tasty scrumptious frog legs? Would you be fine with living frogs? Hell no, I'm not eating a frog if it hasn't croaked. Oliver smiles and nods his head at you. Then the two of you continue walking. And walking, and walking through the deep snow. So, you've been walking for how long now? We're almost there. Where are we going? Somewhere. That's not an answer. I think that you might like something from where we're going to. Alright, Oliver. Trusting you not to screw up my taste buds. The two of you continue chattering away about random stuff. Like the school's campus. For some reason, you expected there to be much more structure to the campus. In the sense that you thought there would be fences, pathways, signs, all that good stuff. Here you are though, out and about with Oliver Cypress in the middle of a peaceful forest. It's too nice for a first day at college. Don't tell me something bad's gonna happen. Okay, nothing bad yet. The two of you arrive at a small cafe. Oliver, being the absolute gentleman he is, holds the door open for you. It's so warm in the cafe that you can feel the snow of your clothing melting off. But it's not so hot to the point where you want to strip on the spot. Must be some damn good fire magic. Do you mind finding seats for us? I have to do something. It should be quick. Not a problem. Oliver walks towards the front counter where a young woman stands. Meanwhile, you have free range of the cafe. There's almost no one here at this time. You offer a seat near the windows. It offers quite a scenic view. Makes you feel like one of those rich kids in a mountain chateau. Once staring out the window gets boring, you turn your gaze towards Oliver. Due to the distinct lack of people, you easily make out the conversation. Hiya, Oliver. Good morning, Emma. How's everything been going for you in the cafe? Everything's been going amazingly. The cafe's doing much better than I thought. Now, as for you, you're not usually here so late. What brings you here past 7 in the morning? I have something for you. He shifts through his pockets. You don't know how much shit's in there, but it's enough that it takes Oliver a good while to find whatever he needs. Ah, here. The bag is neatly folded, complete with a fancy wax seal. Oh, Oliver, you didn't have to. How much time do you spend on this? Don't worry about it. Come on, I'm gonna pay you back somehow. You haven't a clue as to whether or not the blend is good yet. Well, you never make anything that makes anyone vomit their guts out. Still, that's the bare minimum for coffee. If a blend is making everyone vomit, there's something seriously wrong with plants. Perhaps something went wrong with cultivating the plants, or maybe I messed up a step? Or maybe the entire water supply is contaminated and it's an issue. He's taking this way too seriously. Does not detect the sarcasm whatsoever. Much larger than just a few coffee plants, and Oliver pauses while Emma stares at him. Sorry, I really need to stop doing that. Nah, it's fine. Kinda funny hearing you list that stuff out. Anyways, I owe you. Alright, I have someone I'd like to introduce you to. Oliver looks over to where you're sitting at. You scurry over to the counter, taking care not to bump the tables. Hey, name's Adrian. Nice to meet you. I'm Emma. Never seen you around here before. I just arrived here yesterday. Ah, that explains it. Well then, hope you've been liking it here so far? Thanks. It's been amazing so far. And only after one class. So Emma, since you want to pay me back, do you mind giving Adrian some recommendations on what to eat? What are you in the mood for, Adrian? Breakfast or lunch? I don't mind eating lunch in the morning, but breakfast it is. Guess I'll get some breakfast. In that case, I know exactly what to give you. And you, Oliver, want the usual? Now, how did you know? Barista's intuition. I'll be waiting for Adrian and myself. Oliver hands Emma several glimmering coins, which she puts into the cash register. She then rushes to prepare the food and coffee. In the meantime, you and Oliver wait by the counter. I didn't know that you had more friends. You didn't expect that, did you? You remember back when he only had you. Sure, some people might think of this as ditching you for other people, but you're happy for him. How could you not be? Nah, I always thought that eventually you'd wind up popular with the ladies. You're getting quite ahead of yourself here. Your order's ready. Oliver retrieves the food and coffee. You then escort him over to the seats you picked out. As you sit, he slips his coat off and drapes it over the back of the chair. Oliver begins to sip his hot coffee. You never understood his coffee obsession. The closest you can think of is that it's similar to your energy potions. Still, you don't know how he drinks it so plain. Then again, you also know how much he hates energy potions. This is pretty good. You speak in between bites. You realize that Oliver hasn't removed his silky gloves. Cold hands? I just like keeping them on. Even while eating crummy stuff? He motioned towards the little sandwich on his plate. and he just levitates it towards his mouth. He almost forgot he could just do that. Ah, shucks, I thought I had you there. Oliver's face contorts to a slight smirk. Or instead of magic, I could just use silverware. Hell no, you're not about to eat that with a fork, are you? First off, my gloves would be ruined if I ate the sandwich with my hands. Second, there's no difference between eating with silverware and hands. They both get the job done. And lastly, it's how my mother taught me, proper form or something along those lines. I'm not gonna lie, if I see someone eating like a regular sandwich with a fork and knife, I'd be a little weirded out. Not gonna lie. Ah. Yeah, I think I remember her. And how hoity-toity she was when you visit Oliver. She's always mockingly referred to you as Oliver's little friend, even after you told her your name. Adrian isn't too difficult to pronounce, and even if it was, she never bothered trying. Speaking of which, how is she? You think nothing of the question. Fairly mundane, how's the weather type stuff. Lately, this isn't all that mundane for him. She's in a much better place now. Sheesh. Well, you asked, he answered. And at least Oliver seems to trust you enough with his information, even after all this time. Don't feel too bad, I'll get over it. Besides, this is not my first time dealing with something of this sort. You've gotta be lying right now, right? No one just gets over this kind of shit that quickly. Some people never get over it, in fact. How's everything been for your family, ever since the move and all? You can tell that he's trying to steer the conversation away from stuff about his mother. My family? Remember that you sometimes send a bird to mail stuff to Oliver. You never get any confirmation that he actually received the letter, though. I mean, I'm not in the mood to talk about it, but you know from the stuff I've sent you in the past. Wait, you sent me mail? Yeah, I just thought you moved on from me. No, that's not... Oliver rests his hand in his face in his hand. I never knew that you tried to get in contact with me. Oh. For some time, it's completely silent between the two of you. Oliver looks like he's thinking about something. You can hear whispers of cursing. No, not magical cursing. Cursing as in... that shit, crap, bitch, that kind of cursing. Then it stops. Adrian, I'm sorry I never wrote to you. It's alright. I mean, you didn't even know about the mail. Doesn't excuse the fact that I didn't even try to contact you. No, it's not that big of a deal. It's not? For some time, it was. The thought of him moving on without you. That was pretty sad for a considerable amount of time. Oliver? Oliver, it's okay. Really, it is. You take his hand into yours. I'll make it up to you, somehow. Oliver. Probably his only trait you find annoying. His desperation to make up for something, no matter how trivial. He could break your pen, then try to revive your dead sister to make up for it. Alright, wanna know how he can make it up to me? Don't do anything. I'm serious. In all honesty, the fact that you're hanging out with me and all is enough. You're the reason why we're hanging out again after all. You know that I'm unable to just do nothing. Seems persistent. You opened up the simplest thing he could do for you, just to ease his nerves. In that case, I want you to hang out with me for the rest of the year. I am the new kid after all. Wouldn't want me to be lost in the system. Of course. You smile at Oliver. Seems really down. The two of you finish up eating. Oliver gathers the plates up and returns them to the front counter. He then slips his heavy coat on over his shoulders. Next thing you know, you're back outside. On the way back to the academy, you realize that Oliver's walking in pure silence. You almost want to attribute it to the biting air. But you do wonder if the conversation in the cafe has anything to do with it. You can't tell what he's thinking. Hey Oliver, you okay? He jolts out of his trance. You were just zoning out a bit. Oh, sorry, I just have something on my mind. You want to tell him that you're here to listen, but you also know that you don't have the right to prod further into his life. After escorting Adrian back to the academy and providing him with some more company, you retreated back to your dormitory. You sat at your desk and gazed out the massive windows. White snowflakes dripped from the inky sky. It's the perfect backdrop for drafting Professor Insidio's lesson plan. You've always had a love-hate relationship with winter. It's a beautiful season despite the death at every corner. You know that all too well. You feel the wind whispering in your ears. You feel her whispering in your ears. This isn't any normal wind. It stings. You can barely make out any words. You, me, apart? Shut up, shut up, shut up. Goodness, not this again. Looks like the ceiling hex didn't work all too well. With him, left me? I thought you were out of my life. Never. You, me? Forever. Aw, nah. His mom's still the same in this world too. You close the curtains, so much for getting some air in the room. This is the first time she's wind whispered to you in a while. Why now of all times? Of course that's a trivial question once you think about it for more than a second. You might be a freaking idiot, but you're not that dense. I know that you're out there, somewhere. I won't let you take those I love away from me. Never again. Even after pulling the velvet curtain shut, cold air seeps into the room. You can hear her angry whispers outside. You huddled a bit closer to the fireplace. She's pissed, like always. Some things never change, do they? And this is the end of the episode. Yes, I do want to save. I can return when episode 2 is out. So, I know that this game is not set in the same world as the other series, but so Oliver still has an overbearing mother. I just hope it's not overbearing to that extent. I hope that's literally attached to the hip with her son. But this Oliver in this world is like trying his best. He's got away from her somehow, some way. And I guess basically this series is going to be about him and Adrian living at the academy, his mother trying to intrude in his relationship, him fighting her, but she seems like this involves magic and she seems pretty crazy, so she must be a strong like magician, so it's gonna be run into some problems. But this is supposed to be light and like a fluffy type of story, but I don't know. I'll wait and see. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.